Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the Burnout Washburn podcast. Hope you're having an incredible day. I'm having a super blessed day. It's just beautiful weather. Birds are chirping, sun is shining, blue skies. I just got back from Building Man, feeling recharged. Had a nice little self-care morning. Went on a nice little skate. And took a nice meditation bath and laid out in the sun for a little bit and had a really nice gratitude and affirmation journaling session like I do every morning. And I'm just feeling grateful to be alive. I'm taking action on all my goals and dreams, and I'm feeling aligned, and I'm fucking stoked. So I'm taking all the positive energy that I'm feeling and I'm channeling that your way to everyone that's listening to the podcast right now. So take a second to put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and just feel the connection that you have between all these kindred spirits that are listening to this podcast all across the world, and all the people that are dedicated towards growing and giving and loving, and there's a lot of beautiful people out here, and a lot of you guys are lighting my hearts on fire every time you send me all these messages and texts and emails and all the things that you guys do to show love on the podcast. It means the world, for real, like it really does. I know I say that on every episode, but you guys are the ones driving this thing, making it happen. You guys are the ones, supporting me on Patreon, throwing $5 or $10 or $20 a month. Like, that helps immensely, more than you would ever know. So huge thank you to the Gratitude Gang. Seriously, I just got my second Patreon payout like a couple days ago, and I was like, or actually yesterday, and I was like, this feels so cool to have people supporting me, and not just saying that they're supporting me, but backing that up with like a physical energy exchange of like, here's some money because I appreciate what you do. It's really rewarding. Honestly, I never expected that when I first started this podcast. But it's really cool to see that a lot of you guys are getting value from it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to drop a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the little notification bell. Anything you can do, if you can even just take one small action to help spread the podcast every time you listen and you get something from it, that would be very appreciated. Oh shit, it's 12:12. Check your frequency. Are you doing your best? Damn it, yes, I am doing my best. I'm recording a podcast in a swimsuit because I'm trying to go jump in a lake after this, and I'm feeling good. And I don't even know what I'm really going to talk about on this episode, but I just knew that it's going to be magical. I was like, I just need to record a podcast today because I feel like inspired, and I know something is going to come out. So mainly, I was like, the main inspiration that hit me was just to share this little magical story that happened in real life that might inspire and uplift you and just send some good vibes your way. So today's episode is probably going to be super short, but I just felt like sharing some energy and hanging out with y'all for a minute. So I appreciate you tuning in and listening wherever you are in the world. There's people all over listening, like Germany, Japan. We had someone from Tokyo hit me up the other day saying they're bumping it, and I was like, damn, that's sick. So people all over are tapping into the tribe and tuning into this frequency, and I'm so grateful for it. So I just was meditating today, and I was like, man, I really want to just share this story with my community because I feel like it'll remind you guys of how much magic there is in the universe. So about 5 years ago, actually, hold up, before I really tell the story, I'll give you a brief back something, I don't know what you call it, like a little bit of context, I guess. I love animals, I love nature, and I especially love deer. I love deer my whole life for some reason. Like when I was, even as a little kid, I would get so hyped on seeing a deer. And I live in the Rocky Mountains, so there's deer all over in abundance, really, but I'll get way more stoked than the average person. Like, other people are like, oh, cool, a deer. And I'd be like, oh my God, let's pull over, take a picture. This is so lit. Like, I would be so excited. And as I got older and older, my love for nature and animals just kept growing and growing. And I spent like an entire 2 summers basically like traveling through nature and spent a lot of time in Canada. Been to every province in Canada and just saw a crazy amounts of wildlife up there, and really started falling deeper and deeper in love with animals. And then shortly after I got back from Canada, I got invited to do this shamanic class. I don't even remember who invited me, how I knew about it. I wasn't even really like as tapped in to like, I wasn't consciously tapped into all the spirituality stuff back then. I was just on a frequency where I was starting to follow my dreams and I was starting to wake up, and it was kind of the beginning of my ascension process. So it's like a trip how when you're on the vibe, just that type of people, come into your life. And I got invited to this shamanic workshop, and I met a native shaman, and she opened up space using oils and sage and crystals, and I'd never seen anything like that before. And I didn't even really know what it was all about, but I just went, felt right. And then she basically said, okay, now I'm going to take you guys on a guided meditation to do, or like, I think she called it like a guided image quest or something like that, like a guided vision quest to find your spirit animal. And I never even really like heard of spirit animal. I think I maybe heard the term, but I didn't really like know much about it. And I just, I always thought the idea was kind of cool, but never really thought about what my spirit animal was or anything. So I was like, okay, this will be cool. And she takes us on this guided meditation where we, and I'll just take you guys through it really quick, because it's really simple to just do in your head. Even if you're driving, you don't even need to like necessarily close your eyes. But I prefer if you guys do this little part of the podcast when you're not driving or something, so you can go a little deeper. So you might want to come back to this later. But basically, I'll just take you through exactly what she took me through. So we're gonna close our eyes and put your hands on your heart and just feel the energy of your heart for a second. Feel how beautiful you are. You're a divine being. Blessed. Let's go. So we walk down on this path through the forest, and it just feels really nice. It's perfect temperature. It's perfect weather. We're feeling really good. We're just noticing there's just something about the smell in the air and like the temperature and the birds chirping in the distance, and it's just like the most peaceful, beautiful forest we've ever been to in our entire life, and we like feel at home here, like we've been here before. And we're walking down the path, and as we're walking, we notice off in the distance, maybe about 150, 200 feet in front of us, there's this giant tree. The biggest tree in the whole forest by far. It's just bigger and more bold, and there's something special about this tree. We feel called to walk straight towards this tree, and we get closer and closer, and as we walk right up to the tree, we notice there's a giant doorway in it. We feel really called to come in here. There's this kind of light glowing from inside the tree, and we walk into the tree, walk through this doorway. It just feels so nice. There's nice lighting, and it's huge. As soon as we walk in, it just seems like it just got infinitely bigger inside there. We notice there's this elevator shaft. Beautiful elevator. Walk up, press the button, the door opens. You're going to step into the elevator. As you step into the elevator, you're going to notice there's a bunch of numbers, a bunch of buttons you can press. You intuitively just press your lucky number, and you go up to that floor. As you're traveling up to this floor, you just feel like you're becoming more and more connected to source energy. You're feeling like you're really embodying your higher self, and you're really starting to just feel excited. You feel like you're going somewhere that you've been before, and you just feel like you're coming back home, and everything about going up this elevator feels right. You're almost to your floor. Boom. It dings. The doors open. And as the doors open, you see there's every type of animal that could ever live, and mythical creature, and every type of, there's zebras, there's lions, there's unicorns, there's whales, there's every type of animal that ever has existed, both in real life and in imagination and on other planets, is all living inside this room. Giant room. It just goes on as far as the eye can see. There's every animal imaginable. Now I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just feel the energy of all these animals around you. Now open your eyes, and as you open your eyes, you'll notice one animal in particular. Which animal is it? This animal might look at you, might walk towards you, it'll gesture something towards you. Perhaps all the other animals start to disappear. Or maybe there's a few animals even. Sometimes there can be a few that really catch your attention. Notice these animals and feel their energy, and just let the rest of the animals in the room kind of fade away. They might still be there, but they're not, you're not even consciously aware of them because you're so entranced by these two animals, or this one animal, or however many animals it is for you. You feel their presence and their energy, and you walk right up to them. And you just never felt so right in your life. These are your spirit animals, or this is your spirit animal. And we all have many spirit animals. We all have different animals, and we can access the energy of any animal we want whenever we need it. And they'll come in and out of our lives at different times. So we might have a few overarching kind of main spirit animals that stay with us our whole life. And then we might have animals that come in and out from time to time, or just come for brief periods. So when I did this little kind of guided imagery, it was a deer that just, as soon as I got out of the elevator, the only thing I saw was a deer. And I could tell there was every type of other animal around, but I couldn't, they were all blurry. Like the deer was in focus and everything else was like super blurry, and the deer looked right at me and walked straight towards me, and I just knew in my heart, and it made complete sense because I've always loved deer. I was like, oh my gosh, that just feels right. I've always felt connected to deer. Like when I was a little kid, I would see deer and just almost get in tears, and I could just stare at them for hours, and I never even knew why. And then I started to look into the energy of the deer, and I was like, oh, they're peaceful. They're there's a lot of good vibes coming from deer, and I resonated with just everything about them. So you'll notice whatever animal or animals came to you, you might have liked that animal your whole life, or you've always kind of dug that animal, or it just makes sense, and it kind of, your friends would be like, oh yeah, that's totally you, you're totally a deer, or you're totally a hawk, or you're totally a dolphin, you know what I mean? So for me, kind of my main spirit animals are the deer, the dolphin, the bear, specifically the polar bears, but I love all types of bears. But I don't know, my nickname used to be the polar bear because I like to sleep in super cold temperatures for some reason. I gotta be cold when I sleep. There's a lot of science that shows that you can get into a deeper sleep when it's lower temperature in the room. But anyway, the deer, the dolphin, the bear, and then lately it's also been hummingbirds and butterflies ever since my mom passed. And then fox lately too have been kind of always in and out of my life when I need to be more swift and more cunning and more witty and stuff like that. So you can just look up spiritual meaning of dolphin, or spirit animal meaning for zebra, or what's the meaning of the wolf as your spirit animal. You Google anything like that, you're going to find a bunch of different websites and videos and information regarding the energy of that animal. And you can just take whatever resonates with you and use that energy in your life. So for me, when the hummingbird kept coming to me last summer, and I think they're going to come back here. I have a feeling they're going to come back here in the next month or so. But I started looking up the energy of the hummingbird, and it was like, oh my God, this is exactly how I need to be in my life right now. Hummingbirds are really fast. They're really flexible. They can change any directions. They can fly up, down, forwards, backwards, diagonal, whatever. they can change directions and be adaptable super quickly. So that's a good quality that I need to have. I need to be like adaptable, and I need to be able to maneuver quickly. When life is moving fast, I need to be able to adjust my flight patterns just like super quick. So I took that energy and really felt it. Another thing about hummingbirds is that they will travel super far to find the right nectar. There might be nectar all around them, but they'll fly 2,000 miles to, drink their nectar out of the right flowers. And that's how I feel. Like, for me, even with like love or something like that, there's beautiful women all around me that are like hollering at me all the time, and a lot of even like beautiful girls that have told me they have crushes on me and stuff lately, and I'm like, blessings, I appreciate that, but I'm going for like I'm going for that sweet nectar, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm fine waiting. I'm not in any type of hurry to like find a partner or something like that. It's like I'm just gonna keep traveling, keep doing my thing, keep growing, and then I'm gonna find it at the right time, and it's gonna like feel super amazing. But I'm like the hummingbird. I'm willing to travel like a super long distance and go to the edge of the earth to get the thing I really want, rather than settling for what's just around me and what's convenient. You know what I mean? I'm willing to put in that extra time, that extra flight, those extra miles flying, flapping my wings to get to where I really need to be. You know what I'm saying? Another thing about hummingbirds is they're just super vibrant. They're super colorful. They're like really small, and like I'm pretty small dude, but energetically I'm huge. Like I have a lot of presence, and that's kind of like a hummingbird. They're like a super small bird, but when they come in, they steal the show, and they're like the most vibrant, energetic thing there. So there's a lot of cool things about hummingbirds that I took into my life and was able to apply to my life. And then like lately the fox has been coming in, so I'm looking up, okay, what's a fox? Okay, I need to be more witty, I need to be more cunning, I need to be like, and you'll be surprised if you Google the energy patterns of different animals. It'll make perfect sense on certain aspects of your life, and it'll be pretty apparent on how you can apply that energy into your life. And I like to look at it, these animals are really assisting me, or at least the energy or the spirit of these animals is really assisting me in life. And like the dolphin's one of mine. I started having dreams about dolphins. I had a dream where I was on a beach, and all these dolphins came up to the shore, and I think like one of them got like stuck on the sand or something, and I helped it get back into the water. And then I was hanging out with them, and they were being really nice, and they like swam away, and I kind of felt sad. And then this one dolphin swam back up to me and literally like snuggled me, like was like hugging me and putting its fin on me and like nestling up against me and showing me all this affection and love. And it was like such a beautiful dream, and I woke up just feeling really connected. And I've always loved dolphins. Like usually most of your spirit animals, you've kind of always liked them usually, or at least felt connected to them in some way. Or maybe you see them a lot, or they come to you in dreams, or you see them in books, or anything like that. Like my daughter the other day was like asking me for toys, and she's usually obsessed with horses, but she wanted a fox the other day, so I got her a fox and a deer. And she asked me for them. I didn't suggest the fox or the deer, and she knows I like deer, but like she's never really known I had like any type of affinity for foxes. But it was kind of almost like intuitive, like she picked them out, bring that energy into our house, because almost like she knew we both needed that energy or something. I don't know. But I had another dream with a dolphin actually recently, where I literally set the intention right before I went to bed. Olivia's like, what are you going to dream about? And I was like, I'm going to dream about swimming with dolphins. And sure enough, I was on this boat out on this ocean, and we see a pod of dolphins, and I went and like swam with them, and I was holding on to their fins going super fast and having super fun. And then I swam with the dolphins into this little cove and found like the softest white sand beach that was just this private little beach it was like the most beautiful beach I've ever seen in my life. And went and chilled on that, and like the dolphins like showed me this spot. So it's cool. I just wanted to talk about that. Was like a little context and backstory about spirit animals, and hopefully you maybe found yours or found another one or reconnected with one of yours as you were listening to that. But anyway, I wanted to tell you this quick story regarding one of my spirit animals, the deer. So, about 6 years ago, this is one of the most magical things that's ever happened to me, and I've had 5 or 6 like really, really magical divine stories that I cannot explain, that are supernatural, spiritual type occurrences that have heightened my faith in like the divine and the magic of the universe, that I really don't care if anyone ever believes me on or anything like that, because it's things I've seen that I can't explain that just sound crazy. And anyway, I was hanging out at my apartment with my roommate and a couple girls that were like, they had already gone outside to go blaze one, I think. And so they were like out at the corner smoking, and I walked out with my roommate. As I'm walking outside, I look down towards the street, and like, mind you, my roommate is not a spiritual dude, or he was not at this time. He was not a spiritual dude. He actually claimed himself as an atheist. He didn't believe in like energy and spirituality and law of attraction and magic and ghosts and all these things like that. Like, he was super just science, physical, you know, like really rational, logical minded, and didn't believe in any of this kind of magical, weird type of stuff like I do. And I'd already had some spiritual, crazy experiences growing up, so I've already kind of been open to this stuff my whole life. But I'm walking out, and I'm looking out at the street to where these 2 girls are standing, and I see a deer apparition, ghost, floating above the street about 3 or 4 feet off the ground, walking elegantly, as just like looking divine, gorgeous, like holographic, like I can't explain it. It looked like swirling energy aura, but like still very, very detailed. Like you could see the eyes and the ears and the antlers and like every little aspect of this deer to a perfect T. And it was walking very slowly and looking at us. And I was freaking out of my mind. And it's like 4 feet off the ground, and I'm about to say something, but I haven't said anything yet. I'm just noticing this in my mind, and I think that I'm the only one seeing it, because I'm like, okay, deer's my spirit animal. I've always loved deer, and I'm connected to this magical side of life. So I thought I was the only one seeing it. Out of nowhere, before I could say anything, my homie, my roommate, who was not spiritual, not tuned into this stuff at all, goes, holy shit, are you seeing this deer apparition? Bro, are you seeing this deer apparition? And I was like, what? You see it too? Holy shit. Like I almost cried at the fact that he saw it too. If he had it, and it was walking like right past these girls. And the thing is, these girls didn't even notice it. We came running up to them. Did you guys just see that? Did you guys just see this deer walking by? And they were like, what deer? You know, and they were like, the apparition. We were just mind blown. And it was such a confirmation that he saw it too. Ooh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, 12:34 p.m. I love my life. We're on path. We are aligned. Let's go. But I was just mind blown that he saw it. It was weird that the girls didn't see it, because the deer was actually way closer to them than it was to us. But it was like, if I had just seen it, I would have probably thought, I would have gone on the rest of my life thinking, oh, I just hallucinated. I just made something up in my mind and projected this image, and it seemed completely real to me, because that's how powerful the brain is or something. That's what I would have believed. But since he saw it too, and he's not into that stuff, it was mind-blowing, and he was never the same again. Like, he got spiritual after that. Like, he started believing in magic, and, you know, not like maybe to the level that I do, but like still he's, to this day, he's like, I don't know what that was. I can't explain it, but it was magical. And I'm so grateful that I saw that. And like, we still talk about it to this day, 6 years later, of just like, dude, what was that? That's so beautiful. Like the spirit of a ghost apparition came to us. And I'd seen one ghost apparition type thing before in physical form like that, but I was on acid, so I didn't think it was, you know what I mean? I just like chopped it up to like, oh, I was tapped into some magic because of LSD. But this time when we saw the deer, we were completely sober. That's why it blew my mind. If I had been on acid or mushrooms or something, I wouldn't have even talked about it. Like, it would have been like, oh, cool, those are some good mushrooms, you know, like, this was crazy though. So I just wanted to share that story. I know I've kind of been a little sporadic all over the place on this episode because I wasn't even 100% sure what I was going to talk about. I just was meditating and I was like, I really want to just go spread some magic, and like, really my intention for this episode was to remind you of how magical the universe is and how much more there is than meets the eye. Our eye can only see a fraction of the colors that exist. In the color spectrum, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of colors that we cannot see. In sound, there's infinite amounts of sounds that we cannot hear that are still real vibrations that our ears just can't pick up. Like a dog whistle, for example. A dog can hear it because it's this high frequency pitch, and humans can't hear it because it's out of our range. Just like we can't hear anything below like 50 hertz really, you know, unless we have like, we can maybe feel it, but it's hard to hear anything, you know, below a certain frequency or above a certain frequency. And same, you know, like, there's just so much magic in the universe is basically what I'm trying to say. So understand that the physical reality that you see around you is not everything. The majority of the universe is like empty space, the quantum field. And there's just so much magic out there. So I just figured I'd tap in with you guys for a minute and share that story because it's magical and I haven't shared it on the podcast yet. I have another like extraordinarily magical story that involves like 3 or 4 of my homies that I'm going to talk about soon. So I just wanted to spread some love. Maybe give you a little reminder that like, yo, there's some shit that we don't understand in this universe, and it's magical, and it's fun to just be here. So I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'm going to go record a song right now and then head out into nature, and then I got a business meeting to do, which is actually a dope business meeting because I manifested working with these people. They're like some of the most prominent, probably the most prominent event promoters in my state, and they're doing big things, and they wanted to work with me, and I kind of wrote that down in my gratitude journal not that long ago about how I wanted to work with them specifically. So it's cool how that's coming into fruition. Have a little meeting with them today, but I just want to seize the day, and it's already like almost 1 p.m. and I got so much to do, so much exciting things. So I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Drop a comment, shoot me a little DM, let me know that you were listening, say, you know, what up on IG, and I can personally thank you, and I can just kind of know who's tuning into these frequencies. So hope you have an incredible rest of your week. I'll be back with another episode real soon. Got a ton of new music coming out, new beats, new YouTube videos, all that shit. So stay in tune, stay in touch, and go take care of yourself. Fill yourself up until you're overflowing. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is gangster as fuck. Bless.